you definitely seem like a toy that a maniac would make.
All I knew is that Craig Zoller had written the script, and Craig's written some like kind of big, crazy, intense movies. And the script was certainly shocking. Like, when I read the script, I was legitimately like shocked. I was like, you can't. Most of this will never make the final film. It's so violent and so insane. Just people getting ripped. Everybody gets ripped apart. And it turns out the film is actually a little bit crazier than the script. Somehow. It's more intense and crazy.
So you need any special education or qualifications for this? Can you fill in a circle? How's that?
Congratulations. You can work for the U.S. government.
I auditioned for that movie. The casting director was Georgianne Walken, who is Christopher Walken's wife. So this was an interesting kind of small world thing, because then later on he would be in Balls of Fury, of course, and play the role that I wrote for myself of Fang. So went in and auditioned, and it's like a sad scene. I'm a census taker, and Jon Bon Jovi's like living in a homeless shelter. I don't remember anything about the scene. I remember thinking, hey, Jon Bon Jovi's kind of a good actor. And he was. He's also a goddamn dreamboat. Then years later, I was in a movie called Boat Trip, filming in Cologne, Germany. Very behind schedule. All I did was get drunk every day by myself and eat schnitzel. I'm in a hotel in Cologne, Germany. I'd met Jon Bon Jovi once 5 years before, and he walks in the hotel and he goes, Tom! That's how you become Jon Bon Jovi. Yeah. It literally, I shit my pants. Figuratively and literally.
Ta-da. Oh! What the fuck?
It's a test, Sammy.
We'll test this, you fucking quack.
I have seen worse cartilage in knees.
It's good.
No, that's because there is no cartilage in your knee and not much of any use in your elbows or your shoulders. First movie I auditioned for in Los Angeles was Memento. And I read the script, and I remember I got to the page where he says, am I shooting at them or are they shooting at me? And I was like, holy shit, this is like one of the coolest scripts I've ever read. This will be a big hit. God, I hope I get to be in this. But the audition for that movie is this. It's a test, Sammy. That's it. So I had to go in a room, and Christopher Nolan's in like a three-piece suit. And I sit down, and I'm like, hello. It's like Thomas Lennon. Hi. Hi. It's a test, Sammy. The end. And Christopher Nolan went, oh, yes, okay, very good. Yeah, good, great. 13 years go by, and I got a call from my agent, and they're like, hey, Christopher Nolan's making another Batman movie. And I'm like, oh, neat. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and there's a role of a doctor. He thinks it'd be really funny if it was you. Because, of course, I was the doctor in Memento. And so it's like basically a little inside joke. Here's the other thing. So when you see me in Dark Knight Rises as that same doctor, keep in mind, just a couple years earlier, the Joker blew up Gotham General Hospital. I, as that character, which you can't tell, because all I say is, Mr. Wayne, you have no cartilage in your knee, blah, 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 blah. I can't recommend you go heli-skiing, blah, blah, blah. But keep in mind that that doctor saw every person he knows blown to bits by the Joker, and he crawled out of that hospital barely alive. Think about that. That's fucking crazy. So next time you watch Dark Knight Rises, and I seem like a normal, like pretty nice doctor, this guy has witnessed the mayhem of the fucking Joker. Watch that hospital blows up. I'm subsequently working there.
As a plastic surgeon, I got the
Got there in the morning, got handed like a piece of paper that said, there's no such thing as a fireproof wall. And Terrance Malick handed that to me. And I was like, is this something I say? Is this something I know? Is this, what do I, and he's like, I don't know, just if it inspires you, maybe. He's like, I've got lots more of these if you want some. And I'm like, I think I'm good. If it's not a line and I'm just walking around, I guess I'm good. It was about 11 to 12 hours of work for like a half of a sentence where I don't think I'm on camera. But I was kind of bitching and moaning about that. I was like, oh, I'm in this Terrance Malick movie, and I basically say a sentence on camera. And someone's like, have you seen that movie? Because Christian Bale says 4 sentences on camera. And I was like, touche. Touche.
Now through October 10th at the St. James Theater, Tony Award winner Stephen Carlisle in his acclaimed one-man show, Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
All the excitement of the largest grossing movie of all time, brought to life by a shining star of the American stage.
Damn it! Can't you see? Without Henry, I can't get Jurassic Park back online!
Not really well known to us. We had been made an offer by Doug Herzog and Eileen Katz and the people that ran MTV to do a guaranteed 65 more episodes on the air at MTV. Now, our management at the time couldn't be producers on the show, so they were kind of excited to get us into a new deal. And we'd had a couple of offers from networks, one of which was CBS, which we were like, this is what shows how fucking stupid we were. We were 24 years old. And we were like, we're going to be the fucking kings of CBS. Oh my God. So we did one special for CBS called the State's 43rd Annual Halloween Special. It opened with a big musical number about how we're digging our own graves on network TV, co-starring Peter Dinklage. Is in that opening musical number. Look it up. It's amazing. Pete was our friend, and we're like, oh, you should be in this. It'd be great. It tanked so bad. The next morning, we went into our office at CBS. It was just before Halloween, and Carrie Kenny and I had gotten into our underwear, went down the hall, and wrapped ourselves up like mummies in toilet paper to scare the whole group. This is a true story. So Carrie and I are coming in as like underpants mummies. We used to do this kind of shit all the time to each other. And we come in the room and we're like, ooh, ooh. The whole group's sitting around a conference table on the phone, and like somebody just points at the phone, and CBS has already called us. And it's only like 10 o'clock in the morning in New York, which means it's 7 a.m. They came in early in LA to call us to tell us we're never going to be on CBS anymore. Our other 2 specials were garbage, were out the door, forget it. But it was really one of those weird moments to be wrapped up in toilet paper doing a bit when everyone's like, oh, also our lives are over.
Can you describe partying for me, please, in
got
more
a
detail?
cake, and then I got my flute, and I go like this.
Terry, can I ask you a question?
What?
Is that flute another man's penis?
We almost did a sketch show for Fox. Ben and I wrote like 90 sketches. We cast it with Niecy Nash, Carlos Elizraki, Cedric Yarbrough, Carrie, us. We did a table read of that sketch show, and Gail, who's still my friend, Berman, who was the president of the network at the time, was like, nah, I don't think we're going to do this. It's like, I have no reason to do a sketch show, and you're all so old. Keep in mind, at this point, I was 28 years old, but I was too old to be on Fox. And so we were canceled at the table read, and it was supposed to be like a Saturday night comedy show on Fox. So the next thing we did was like, well, why don't we just do like a parody of Cops? Like just a shot-for-shot parody of Cops with the budget and the cast that we have. So we did, turned it in, and we're like, oh my God, we went from canceled to on the air, bitches. No, we didn't get picked up. Didn't get picked up at all. Sat on the shelf. We just left it. We just walked away. And then over 3 years went by, and Comedy Central was like, hey, you want to do that show that Fox never did? And that was Reno 911.
I thought you told me you destroyed that car.
Sorry, dude. Hey, Trip. I know you're gonna win today, but on the microscopic chance that she beats you again, I've set up a Slim Fast Big Loser campaign. So there's that.
We wrote it, and then Lindsay Lohan got attached when she was still up and coming. By the way, she's great in the movie if you haven't seen it lately. Like, she holds up. We got fired off of that movie. We've been fired off of most of the movies you write. It's simply the way it works. Unless you are an auteur just making your own stuff. If you're writing for the studios, you're going to get fired. So we had a big, huge meeting with the executive on Herbie, and it was a really specific reason we got fired. And it was because she kept saying, so at the end of the scene, like Herbie like bumps into her, and then like the door knocks her over, and then Herbie smiles. And we're like, what the fuck is that? So Herbie's like a transformer? He's like, he can do anything. He's like liquid metal. We're like, no, he can't smile. Like his headlights can blink, or he can go beep beep, or his engine can rev, but he can't go like a monster. He can't smile. That's insane. We're like, no, we're not going to do that. That's crazy. And the next day we were fired. and we were replaced. And when you look at not only in the movie yes, Herbie smiles in that movie, just a little bit. He's also smiling in the poster, as if just to be a permanent fuck you to us, to show you, yeah, Herbie can smile, you assholes. And next time, just do it. Just shut up and do it. Is that the hill that you want to die on? You were willing to write a Herbie movie, but you weren't willing to make Herbie smile? Now who's the asshole?
Coming back. Mine. Give me. Rape. I'm warning you that I'm going to rape you. Ow.
This is the only scenario, A Futile and Stupid Gesture, to my knowledge, is the only time I've ever played a real human being. An actual person who lived, which is Michael O'Donoghue, who was a young poet and playwright from upstate New York, and later went on, of course, to become the first head writer at SNL, and he's in the first sketch ever on SNL. Yeah, I was fascinated by him. I read all the books about him and his early demise. You know, O'Donoghue had terrible migraines almost all the time, which kind of explains a lot. But I really wanted to. That was the first time. It was interesting for me because usually I'm just like the guy comes in and goes, "I'm the principal," and but it was interesting to. I am doing an impression of Michael O'Donoghue in the movie very specifically. Like I'm trying to be as close to him as possible. I also shaved my head back just about an inch. Don't ever do that.